Hi. Um, I was reviewing a little video of the Texans pronouncing Wisconsin town names, and if you look above, above here, you see the words. I have a list of town names in Wisconsin, and I gave you instructions already, so I am now going to go through the pronunciations and give a little talk about the towns. First, we have Waniwak. Yeah, a little small town. I once wrote about a Zanga meet, possibly in Waniwak. Awesome town. Next we have Onalaska. I went to high school there, the public school. They are called the Hilltoppers, although my school was actually on top of a hill. Theirs was lower than mine. Next we have Prairie du Chien, where I went to school my freshman year of high school at a private school, lived in dorms, fun town. Next we have Baraboo. I wrote about that. In fact, one of my favorite writings is of a bar that's haunted called the Old Baraboo Inn. Plus I have good friends live there, and my goddaughter lives in Baraboo. And that's also where, for you Pittsburgh Steeler fans, they make the terrible towels, which is actually a couple blocks from where my goddaughter lives. Next on the list, Wauwatosa. Next, Wazeeka. That's near Prairie du Chien. That was a fun little school. I remember one of my most memorable football games was played at Wazeeka. I got a personal foul called against me for unnecessary roughness. I was being held. I was playing defensive tackle. I was being held, and I didn't like where I was being held. The center's hand went a little too low, grabbed something he shouldn't have. So on the next play, I picked him up, body slammed him, and then when he was trying to get down, I put my size 17 on his face mask and yelled at him to keep his ass down. All of that was in front of the referee. 15-yard penalty. I get benched. I get a firm talking to from my coach, who we called Pitt, because his head looked like a roll-on deodorant because he was so bald. He told me not to do that anymore, and then he put me back in the game. Next we have Waukesha. Fun town. I do remember a girl from my college who was from California, I think. Then when we went to Milwaukee, to and through Waukesha, she kept pronouncing it Waukesha, and she thought it was a settlement of African Americans. Waukesha also comes in with the next town on the list, Mukwonago. I was in Waukesha for a bachelor party, and we went to the House of Guinness, and I saw a performance there that just blew my mind because the person who performed was a complete ass. And one of the songs he sang was called Shit on Mukwonago. And one of the guys I was with, I asked, who is this guy? The guy said, he's the biggest prick on earth. You'll never meet anyone as big a prick as him. His name is Sigmund Snowpeck III. The reason he carried himself in such a cavalier manner was he performed with the Flaming Lips, or not the Flaming Lips, the Violent Femmes back in the day. Just an ass. But I did like his song called Shit on Mukwonago. Next on the list, Menominee Falls. Menominee, Monoman, Rice in Native American languages. Next we have Mequon, fun town, beautiful, and the home of a seminary. Next we have the home of the Green Bay Packers, Ashwaubenon. If I remember my Wisconsin town boundaries correctly, Lambeau Field is actually in Ashwaubenon. So Green Bay Packers sounds a little better than the Ashwaubenon Packers. Next on the list, Kaukauna. If you're ever in Wisconsin, find Kaukauna cheese. You won't be upset, especially their port wine cheese spread. Great stuff. Next we have Oconomowoc. I think that's somewhere down by Pewaukee and Waukesha. Next, Waiawega. Fun town. If I remember right, there's a Pepsi plant in the town. I went there for a wedding. I was in a wedding in Waiawega. Quite a wild weekend for a wedding in Waiawega. Next on the list is Manitowoc. Another fun town. Then we have Shawano. I wrote an article on Zanga a few years back about a cult that's in Shawano and how a friend of mine from college, or more of an acquaintance, I guess, he's a news anchor for a news station in that area, and I believe in a town called Wausau, and he's gotten death threats from this cult because of the things he's reported. Next we have Potosi. Potosi, that was another team I played against in football in high school when I went to Prairie du Chien, and also drove through Waseca, which shouldn't be confused with Waseca, Minnesota. Almost similar spelling, definitely different pronunciation. Good thing about Potosi is we have the Potosi brand beer. Next we have this one. I've wondered how many of you would pronounce it Rio. In Wisconsin, the town is named Rio. Sort of strange. I got a crying cat here. Next we have the only town in the world with this name, Waunakee. It's on their newspaper, their weekly newspaper. I can't remember. I think it's the Waunakee Herald. It says there are so many of this town in the world, so many of this town, but there's only one Waunakee. Finally, this town, this city, I guess, I know a lot of you probably say, well, why is he included this? I included it because of the way people on the eastern part of the state pronounce it. It's not Milwaukee. A lot of people in that area just say Milwaukee, Milwaukee, Milwaukee. I don't like that, but what are you going to do? Well, I hope you learned something. Probably not. Probably laugh at my accent, but whatever. Have a good day.